Akshay, did you always knew what you wanted to do when you passed out from MBA?
I was all over the place. Saurabh, what about you?
यार मेरे को तो तब भी आइडिया नहीं था, आज भी आइडिया नहीं है.
Confused about your career choices? Wondering what steps to take next? In this podcast called Beyond Campus, Saurabh Garg, founder of C4E, and Akshay Dutt, founder of Unnati, are on a mission to crack open the career success code for the youth. वो बचपन में कहते थे ना, तुम जो चाहे बन सकते हो. So, let's turn the dream into reality.
Hi, I am Manish Kothari, founder of ZFunds.
करना तो अपना ही business है is something Manish Kothari, who grew up in a Calcutta-based business family, knew from a very early age. After some interesting stints with names like Standard Chartered Bank, IIFL and Citibank, Manish co-founded ZFunds, which is making investing and investment sahi and aasan across Bharat. Here is Manish talking to Akshay Dutt and how he built ZFunds and India's investment mindset.
I was a 90s child, like any other 90s child, either CA कर लो, MBA कर लो, commerce graduate हो तो वही था, MBA करने चला गया, and then the world changed from there.
So your MBA was like a 2-year residential at TAPME, right?
Yes, that's it.
So, but like, what were the highlights of the 2 years you spent there?
I made some very good friends. First time outside Calcutta for such a long time, realized, the importance of diversity, honestly. If you see largely, so apart from, basic holiday related travel till about 21 years, I didn't do much of travel because, being in a business family, my family was not in a job or a profession which needed my parents to travel. So because of that, my travel was very, very restricted, very, very limited travel. This was the first time, 2 years I spent, outside Calcutta with a set of people with hardly any commonality. So you learned a lot. So made some very, very good friends. Obviously, apart from academics, you traveled. So that was the first time I realized that I really love traveling. So every weekend we were kind of, we tried to be out.
So what was campus placement then?
So
like once you finished?
Once I finished, so that was 2003 was a tough year. It was a very tough year. This was right after that 9/11. Very tough year. I was lucky to get into Standard Chartered Bank. That was my campus placement, and then
And where did SCB put you?
So initially Bombay, then Calcutta. I was sent to Calcutta. Then I moved to Delhi with SCB. So they sent me to a lot of places.
And like what? Like largely sales and operations kind of role, like typical banking role?
Initially, it was credit and operations, but then that first 1.5 2 years, I realized, and probably my bosses realized that I was good in sales. So that's next role that I took up was in sales. I moved to Delhi. When I moved to Delhi, I started handling a sales unit.
Then why did you leave SCB?
Oh, difficult question. Look, SCB was a great place. It was a dream job for me. That time I really wanted to become the CEO of the bank someday. It was a great place, and like any youngster, any 25, 26-year-old, I wanted to be, the CEO of the bank. As you grow, I spent about 5 years there, and I realized that such large places, let's say policies take over passion. That was one of the reasons I said I'll move on. Passion was to do something on the capital market side. So that's where I took this call that I'll move on.
Okay. So what was the role that you got into?
So I got into a private banking role, a private banking wealth management role after that. This was with ASK Wealth Advisors, erstwhile ASK Raymond James. I joined them in 2008 after spending about 5 years plus at Standard Chartered. And immediately after I joined them, Lehman Brothers happened.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was crazy.
So wealth banking means like you were basically going to HNIs and investing their money for them.
Absolutely. So very large HNI and institutional investors used to be our clients. Very large.
So how was that stint with ASK?
So first 1 year, honestly, we had nothing to do. Lehman Brothers happened. The entire financial markets had come to us still. We had nothing to do. समय phone भी करते थे तो कोई clients meeting नहीं देते थे. I'm sure you would recollect those days. Everything had come to standstill. There were rumors on banks. No one wanted to. So financial services was a bad profession that time. So first 1 year went like that, and then slowly it got back to track. And this was again my first role, wherein outside a bank I was more than a. So before this, with Standard Chartered, I was selling the bank's brand name. Okay, this was the first role wherein I was selling my own brand name. Okay, though there was no brand name, so I was trying to create that. So those 2-3 years I spent there. 3 years. It was okay from a learning perspective, but those were very tough times.
Then what next?
Next, first instance, markets improved. I said I'll change my job. I moved on to Citibank. Took up another banking job.
But a rather small stint there, no? Like just a year.
Very, very. So from day one, I was very clear that this is going to be a very small stint. This was more of a stopgap. I wanted to get back to banking and then figure out what I wanted to do. Probably wait for the right opportunity. So very, very small stint there, about a year or so. From there, so there I met some really good professionals. My bosses there were really good in this profession. And from there, I moved to IIFL. IIFL Wealth Management was a very small company that time, only about 3.5 years old. But it has started doing well. So I joined them. It was a bunch of very, very capable and very passionate people. I joined them, and that's where I realized what happens if you join a company, join a set of people who share the same passion as you, who share the same aggression as you, and that's where I learned one thing. I want to say that, and I will never forget that in my life. I've told that to a lot of people in my team. 80% of your career success, if you're in a job, 80% of your career success is because of the industry that you're working in. Let's say 70% is because of the industry that you're working in. 20% is because of the company that you're working in, and balance 5-10% is on you. Let's say anyone who joined insurance or telecom in the late 90s, early 2000s. Okay, so that's where I realized this because my career really got a jump that time when I was with IIFL.
So you set up their wealth division, like again similar role of investments for HNIs and institutions.
Yes, but I had not set it up, honestly. So I had bosses there. So my boss had was kind of setting up the North practice, Delhi and North practice. I had not set it up. I was a part of the team. I used to lead a team. From there, I moved on to PolicyBazaar, where I had set up the entire business. PolicyBazaar is PolicyBazaar is where I had set up the entire mutual fund distribution business.
So why the move to PolicyBazaar?
Again, a difficult question, but that time what happened, look, I spent about 5 years with IIFL. I was about 35 that time. Karna to apna business hi tha kabhi na kabhi.
Okay, that Marwari blood.
Yeah, absolutely. Last 5 years at IIFL, learned the tricks of the trade. Learned how to manage a business more than anything else. How to manage a business, a wealth management business. So I was fairly decided to start my own practice. Wealth management, typically what happens is that you have a set of clients who trust you. The entire business is based on trust. So that's where I decided that look, I would be better off starting my own practice. Kabhi na kabhi ye karna hi hai, to abhi kyun nahi? That's what I was doing, and I happened to meet Yashish. So PolicyBazaar used to be my clients that time.
Okay.
And I happened to meet Yashish and share this idea with him. He said, "Why don't you come and join me and set up the mutual? So we want to get into mutual funds, and you want to create something on your own. So why don't you come and join me?" That's where this started. That I joined them and set up this business.
Okay. So what was that experience like, setting up the mutual fund business for PolicyBazaar? Like, what did you start with, and what kind of numbers did you achieve over the years?
So, to give you a background, PolicyBazaar is a tech company, and I'm a hardcore non-techie. I don't understand anything of tech. I still don't understand too much of it. Okay. So, but I thought that things are changing. So it would be a good platform to join and learn something, understand things. शायद आगे काम आ जाएगा. There were a couple of junior people before me in this business who were kind of setting up the platform, the tech platform. I was the first senior guy. So practically, I was employee number one in that unit. Okay, and right from the first person's hiring to everything, I did it. So business development to let's say hiring to compliance to legal, everything I was a part of. It was great learning. Looking back, it really helped me. Had I not put myself at PolicyBazaar that time, I wouldn't have realized that there are so many things in a business that you have to take care of.
Okay. So PolicyBazaar was selling the direct plan mutual fund, like without taking the brokerage, or was it with the brokerage?
So when we started, we were regular plans. We were not direct plans. When we started in 2016, we used to sell regular plans. 2017 is when we started selling direct plans. We were the first ones to start selling direct plans. First large platform to start selling direct plans. That's what we did in the industry.
And what is the way you monetize then when you're selling direct plan? Like, how do you make money then? Because you're not earning any brokerage.
So that's still a question. Though we had some basic revenue line, but it was not major. Used to make some money, but everyone doing direct plans today are in customer acquisition game rather than making money through mutual funds. They are in customer acquisition game, and their monetization model, I can tell you, Akshay, is not mutual funds. Their monetization is not mutual funds. They will their monetization plan is something outside of mutual funds. So some of these guys are talking about broking, some insurance, some elsewhere. But direct plans, given the compliance structure, given the regulatory structure of our business, very very difficult to monetize today. Very difficult. The largest of players are finding it difficult to monetize direct plans.
So by the time you left PolicyBazaar, what had that business scaled up to, like the mutual fund?
Oh, we had in 3 years we had about 1 lakh customers. We had a collective AUM of about 1,000 crores. We had a very large SIP book. I don't exactly remember the number now, but we had a very large SIP book. So we were a formidable player at that time. In the mutual fund distribution space, we were I think number 2 when I left.
Number 1 would be Paytm, I guess.
Yes, that time I think Paytm had just started. ET Money was number 1. ET Money was number 1.
So what did you have in mind when you quit? Like, what was the trigger to quit and do something of your own? Because PolicyBazaar was also like an entrepreneurial kind of an experience. So why decide to start something of your own?
So Akshay, when we were at PolicyBazaar, we used to look at numbers very, very closely. What we realized was about 70% of our investors from tier 2, tier 3 towns who used to do business with us were largely P&L denters. We used to call them, between me and my product manager, Vidhi, we used to call them P&L denters.
What does that mean? Like,
means that they were basically these clients were loss making clients for us. Reason being, they used to come to a platform, start a 500 rupee SIP or just do a 500 rupee SIP and never grow from there. When we got deeper into these clients, we realized that these are the same clients who are doing much larger investments outside of our platform, much larger investments. They would be having let's say 50k insurance policy. They would be having a 50k insurance policy running. They would be having a 5-10k SIP running outside of our platforms. These guys, there we realized that these guys are not just looking for an efficient checkout flow, or to get investments that are cheaper than the market. They were not looking for direct plans. They were not looking for an efficient checkout flow. So if you see most of these platforms, they have very, 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 very efficient checkout flow, and the values would be very similar to what I'm talking. Values are not very different between these platforms. That's where we realized that, and the answer to this was very simple. That this business, the mutual fund advisory business, there are two three very very critical points from a consumer understanding perspective. One is, and I say that often, कि कोई customer अपने आप invest नहीं करता. Even if I look at myself as a customer, I would have some money lying in my account. I want to invest. I run this business. I should be financially, very very prudent to not keep money in the savings account. But even I don't invest. You need a nudge. You need a push to invest. Okay? And that's where advisors become very very helpful. In growing the market and getting these clients to the market. So we realized that
Yeah, India is very untapped right now. So you would, large percentage of population would need like a nudge to start investing.
Absolutely. Across the world, why India? You look at US. In 2017, in one of the CFA conferences, I got a chance to meet Betterment CEO, and the insights that he shared with me about US market very very similar. They're also a large part of the clients' first investment is because of tax. They also have a hybrid model. Pure digital doesn't work there. Also, this is 2017, so not too long back. So across the world, that's how it works. You see, you talk to 10 people around you, and I've done that. I've spoken to friends. I've spoken to colleagues. If I ask you, you will also have money in your bank account, and you would have you wouldn't have invested. For whatever reasons, might not have time, might be busy somewhere else, might not know what to do. The reason could be different, but largely the fact remains that you do not invest on your own. अपने आप को invest, you need a push. So that was one, and second was a very very large part of the country. No one was addressing. So if you see these digital platforms were addressing, let's say, a decent part of the overall market, which is urban tier 1 markets, which are digital savvy customers. There's a very large part of our country today which is digital refusers. I call them digital refusers, where a lot of people, when I talk to, they don't go online to invest their money. And it starts from, let's say, my dad to people 25 30-year-olds. They don't invest directly on platforms. They need someone to work with them, to make them understand what they should do. I call them digital refusers, and that's a very very large part of it. And that's the reason, if you see, even after having so many successful digital platforms like Paytm Money, PolicyBazaar, ET Money, these, our penetration is still less than 3-4%. Mutual fund penetration is hardly anything. When I traveled to UP, very, very interesting. When the first time I traveled to UP, Eastern UP, one of the distributors told me, so one line he told me, sir, यहाँ पे 5 में से एक आदमी का DHFL में पैसा लगा है. So look, these guys had money. They were investing elsewhere, but mutual funds में नहीं डाला because there was no distribution. आप कैसे पैसा लगाओ?
Sahara also tapped this same audience only, no?
Absolutely. So chit fund, even today, everyone there invests in chit fund. Everyone in UP. You go to UP, everyone, you Bangalore, everyone invests in chit fund. And mutual funds वाले पहुंचे ही नहीं है. So so basically, as an industry, we've got the distribution wrong. That's what we realized, and we have numbers to back that. UP has about 2.5 lakh life LIC agents. LIC. I'm not talking about private insurance company. Only LIC has about 2.5 lakh agents. And how many mutual fund agents are there? 8,000. Look at the gap. So it was a no-brainer for us that time to tap this opportunity.
So why does LIC have more agents than mutual fund? Because ये तो मतलब फ्री मार्केट फोर्सेज है ना, तो जहाँ कमाई होगी वहाँ एजेंट बन ही जाएगा. तो म्यूचुअल फंड में कमाई नहीं होती क्या कि वहाँ एजेंट नहीं बने?
बट किसी को तो जाना भी पड़ेगा एजेंट बनाने के लिए.
Okay. So you're saying LIC was more proactive and that's why it has agent?
Even today, it has more offices, it has more people on the ground than all mutual fund companies taken together. I was surprised when I went to Gorakhpur about 6 months back. I was surprised that, so I met a very large distributor and he told me that, 6 महीने बाद, no, actually 1.5 years बाद, कोई दिल्ली से मिलने आया. So Gorakhpur, kind of, and it's not a small village. So when I met him, he told me that about 1.5 years बाद कोई मिलने आया है Delhi. Where do we have mutual fund offices or distribution offices in?
But the earning potential is similar, like for a LIC agent and a mutual fund agent?
With a 5-year view, it is similar. Unfortunately, mutual fund as an industry, we do not have upfront payouts. So the first 3-4 year, the agent makes much lesser, but he typically breaks even in 4th-5th year, and from there, the mutual fund curve overtakes the insurance curve.
So this you're saying that upfront payment नहीं मिलती है mutual fund में to the agent. Why is that? मतलब when someone puts in money, तो agent doesn't get a percentage of it, क्या?
He doesn't get it upfront. So what he gets is, let's say, if the payout is 1% to the agent, he doesn't get 1% upfront the day he logs in the application. Okay, in insurance, he gets that whatever that percentage is upfront. In mutual fund, he doesn't get it upfront. He gets it every month for the number of days the investment has been there in his, in the fund. Okay, so first month, let's say if he invests on the first of the month, he gets it only for 30 days. So every month he's getting 1/12%. Okay, but this is a perpetual trail, and whoever has got into this business now understands that this is perpetual. This he will make for a lifetime till the money is there.
So the more important metric for a mutual fund agent is like a assets under management kind of a metric.
Absolutely,
Got it. Okay.
absolutely, and not how much money you're making in that year or in that month.
So you had this understanding of the market that the digital refusers have been ignored by the mutual fund industry. So then what did you decide to do about that?
So we thought, look, we did some basic work. Looked at numbers, कहाँ पे potential है, कहाँ नहीं है. Clearly, metros and tier 1 was a market overcrowd from our perspective. Was overcrowd. There were banks. There are mutual fund companies themselves. There are individual financial advisors. There are NBFCs. There are digital platforms. You name it, they're there. So we didn't want to get into a place wherein all these are anyways competing with each other. We looked at numbers, for districts, and to our surprise, we found out some of the districts in UP had only about 20, 25, 30 odd distributors. The entire district has only about 25 distributors. Okay, out of which, even if you, let's say 20% is active, that's the industry rate, 20% distributors are active. So 20% distributors are active. You have only like 5-7 distributors catering to the entire district. What do? It was a no-brainer. It was a very low-hanging fruit for us. It meant for us, because look, none of us, the initial founding team, none of us had any experience of UP. It meant some bit of courage that time, that no, we will go there and we'll crack this. But it was a super opportunity. Until date, I say, when I talk to people, and people ask me that how did you do it? In some of these districts, you just have to go and talk to people, and you will not imagine how proactive they are. They want to learn more. They want to earn more. They want to get into new lines of business. They want to earn more. From that perspective, UP is a wonderful state. So it was a no-brainer for us, and we were lucky to have identified that segment, because that helped to get that initial growth.
So tell me how you launched. Like, are you like a tech-enabled kind of a transaction platform, or what is it like? Like, if someone becomes an agent with you, then what do you give to that agent? Like tell me how it got off the ground.
So we developed an app. It's the entire thing. It's a end-to-end app wherein one single app you can do the KYC to final transaction fulfillment for a particular user. So it's an advisor app today, wherein an advisor who wants to join us can come to our platform, download the app, do his basic KYC, and start using that app.
So anyone can be an advisor. Does there? like in insurance, you have that IRDA.
So here also there are mandatory trainings and certifications which we help them do. There are mandatory certifications. There's an NISM certification, a basic certification that these guys have to undergo. We help them do that. We have capabilities. We conduct training sessions. We help them do that.
So when did you launch the app?
Very interesting. We launched it one day before lockdown. I think it was 21st or 22nd of March, and everyone told us that wow, we do. I also felt so that what a blunder. But after the first week's anxiety, I think the team did really well. People here on the sales side, on the tech side, we made sure that all of us are there when the advisors need to talk to us. The app was also new. Any new product, you can't be 100% sure. So we were there with the customers and with the advisors. We used to tell them that look, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि कुछ फटेगा नहीं. Something can go wrong. What I can assure you is that if anything goes wrong, I will be there at midnight to sort it that time. That is what we can assure you, and that is what our team is committed to even today.
So you had quit your job 6 months before you launched the app. So in those 6 months, what were you doing? I'm assuming the signups would have started happening in March only.
So 6 months we took to build the product. Basic compliance. To run this business, you need licenses. Started, and so those 6 months we generated another revenue stream, which is some of my old high net worth clients. We got them onboarded here. Even today, these are the clients who are paying the bills. So in the sense that we make some money out of them, and that helps us grow this business, the retail business. So that's what we were doing. App takes time to be built. Since we wanted to build it in house, we didn't want to give it to any agency or a vendor. So hiring takes time. Then getting things off the ground takes a bit of time. And when you look, I have run one such business. Me and Vidhi, my co-founder, we had run this business earlier, and we knew that we knew कि क्या नहीं करना है, what are the mistakes to avoid. So when you know that, you take time. So we took about 6 months to build it. And today I can proudly say that some of the features that we have on the app, and we've got customer feedback, we've got advisor feedback. Some of the features that we have on the app, it is industry first. We have real time tracking, payment status, real time KYC, everything today that he needs on the app. He doesn't need a laptop to run this business. Doesn't need a laptop or a desktop to run this. Everything is there on the app.
So how did you meet Vidhi, and what is the split between you and her? Like, what do you look after and what does she look after?
So we met at PolicyBazaar. PolicyBazaar is where we hired Vidhi. She had joined us to take care of the mutual fund product and tech team. And we worked very closely for about 3 years there. She comes with a very deep tech and product background. So she's the brain behind the app. So she takes care of the product and tech piece. I take care of the business, commercial, everything else basically.
So how did you start having the onboarding of these agents happening? Like, did you have folks on ground who would go and tell people, or how did you get the initial traction?
Why just folks on ground? We were on the ground. My team. So that time we had only one guy in the sales team. Sudeep, me, Vidhi, Sudeep, collectively between December and till lockdown, let's say till March, till this Corona thing, happened till about February, we spent collectively about 60 days in Eastern UP. So we were there on the ground. We met a lot of people there. We had done the initial work. We knew that this would be required to launch the app there.
So you were targeting people who were distributing other financial products and telling them
Absolutely.
that why don't you distribute mutual funds also?
Absolutely.
Like LIC agents would have been the
Yes.
primary target.
Yes, LIC
Okay.
agents, retired bankers, chartered accountants, even existing mutual fund distributors, because these are the guys who are doing their business offline. And this lockdown really helped that time because they didn't have anything to support their business. So come second week of April, and these guys started joining us. So we got that initial traction, and these guys understood that abhi corona kitna time rahega pata nahi, but they can't stop their business. Right. So they started joining us. And, so our terms are structured in a way that the advisor makes the maximum money.
How much do you keep out of the earning?
We keep a very, very small percentage of it. We keep only about 15-20%. So 80% goes back to advisors, and we have some very, very attractive incentive plans also. So advisors, we understand. Look, when you are in a distribution business, no, and the food chain is that there's a customer, there's an advisor, there's an app which is ZFunds, and then there is the AMCs. If the customers make money, so distributors will make money only if customers make money. I will make money only if distributors make money, and AMC will make money only if these guys make. That we understand very, very well, and that's what we have done. So distributors, they understood our so though we were not a brand name, we didn't have a big brand name. We were just 2-3 of us, but I think what worked with them was the truthfulness. We were there in front of them, talking to them, founding team, and that really worked. I think getting the initial traction. Once we had about 50 odd advisors on a platform, then it's a word of mouth, and now we keep getting references.
So what's the number today? Like how many advisors do you have?
We have about 300 plus advisors.
What are the ways in which you empower these advisors? For example, if they have to collect the money, can they, for example, send a link out to the end client that pay over here, or do they take cash and then they put it into their account and send it to you? Like what are the ways in which
So there's absolutely no cash, zero cash. We discourage even offline transactions. How the flow works is that the advisor has an app. Okay, he talks to the customer, puts the order. Customer gets a link on WhatsApp. Customer can decide to make the payment there on that link. So very, very simple. We have taken a large part of the pain points in this business, which is getting application forms filled each time you want to do a transaction, checks collect karna, checks bank karna, keeping a log, checking next day whether the transaction has gone or not, check has cleared or not. So all of that we have cleared.
Pretty amazing. And are you looking at diversifying into other products beyond mutual funds?
We have already started a small pilot with fixed deposits, corporate fixed deposits. We will have insurance very soon. Before the insurance season starts, we will have insurance also. We'll have insurance. One very interesting point I would like to mention here, when we when we say that we all these payments that we collect is non-physical, non-cash, non-physical. And I told you that we work with a segment which is digital refusers. A large part of our clients, do not have net banking, and we have solved that problem. We have taken one-time mandates from these guys. We have tied up with Bombay Stock Exchange, whose platform we use. We take one-time mandates from these guys. So which works, a simple form which the mandate gets registered in their bank in favor of Bombay Stock Exchange. Whenever in future they want to do a transaction, they just need a note, nothing else. No net banking required. So that these are things which our advisors found very, very useful. When we spoke to them, we realized that a large part of their customers do not have net bank. work with cooperative banks, do not have net banking. How do you solve that problem? If you have an app with a plain vanilla app, you can't solve that problem.
So you actually like co-built the app with these distributors based on what they were telling you as their pain areas.
Absolutely. So even today we spend about 5-6 hours a week talking to distributors. I'm very fond of talking to distributors. Look, I've done sales for major part of my professional life. I like to meet people. I like to talk to people, and same with my team. We do that at least 5-6 hours a week, and whatever feedback we get. Look, 80% of the feedbacks that we get, like any other business, 80% of the feedback that we get, you don't want to do it, but some 20% are really really insightful, and that's what we work.
You want to target digital refusers, so why are you saying no to any kind of cash transaction? Like there could be people who would.
Cash transactions are not allowed in this business. In mutual fund, cash transactions are not allowed. Second, in our kind of business, how do you manage it? Because ultimately, responsibility. Look, even if a business allows it, I don't know whether we want to do it. Because if the agent is using our platform, the ultimate responsibility is ours. We are answerable to the customer, right? When you run such a business, which is geographically as diversified as we are present in 35 districts in UP out of 75 today. How do you control that? How do you have control on those cash transfers? Even let's say mutual fund, तो it is not allowed. आप cash transaction कर ही नहीं सकते mutual funds में. अगर कोई और business है जिसमें allowed भी होगा तो भी हम शायद नहीं करें. Like the way we have figured out, if he has a bank account, it is very simple. We'll get a mandate registered from his bank account and do the transaction from there. He just needs an OTP. So anyone with a phone number gets an OTP. He can do it.
How long does it take to get that mandate registered?
Max is about 15 days. We get about, let's say about 60% coverage in the first 1 week. 60% gets registered in the first 1 week, and about 95% in 15 days.
And generally, what mode of payment do people prefer?
Mandates. Mandates are today 95% of our total transactions. I think it will be more than 95. It will be 98, 99.
So UPI and all these are not really there in like interiors.
No, they just find mandates to be much more useful. Look, if you have to register it just once. Next time आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. Your investment life, you've made it so simple. आपको कुछ नहीं करना. You just have to put in. So as soon as you get a link from the advisor and you click on the link, you get an OTP. You just have to put the OTP to confirm your transaction and nothing else. So look, people will move to things where which they find it simple. I understand that UPI has got great acceptance, whether it is peer-to-peer payment or other commercial payments. It has got great acceptance. But in our business, wherein the beauty of our business is that there is one payer and one payee. Okay, the collection happens in the name of Bombay Stock Exchange, and the payer is one customer. Okay, so we have registered the mandate, and it makes his life very very simple.
So, what is the plan to grow the distributor base? You are so far self-funded, or have you raised funding?
We are client-funded.
Client-funded, amazing.
We are client-funded. So, look, in our business, as I said, at a unit level, you can't lose money. At a unit level, you can't lose money. It's not that if I have to scale up, I have to start paying 120% of the commissions that I make. I still pay, we are already at the maximum threshold, which is about 80%, 80%, let's say. Okay. I don't have to go beyond that. So at a unit level, at a transaction level, we don't lose money. There is some cost of acquisition from an advisor perspective. When we acquire the advisor, train them and all, there is some bit of cost of acquisition. That's not much, and that we know. As other advisors' business keeps growing, the new advisors get subsidized by them. So it's largely a client-funded business. Very very high operating leverage, wherein we have to acquire the client just once, the advisor just once, and that helps either through SIP or lump sum payment. So to that extent, we don't have very high capital requirement. And second, Akshay, as I am not a 23-year-old out out of college. मुझे देश नहीं बदलना है, ठीक है, उसके लिए मोदी जी हैं, ठीक है, मुझे देश नहीं बदलना है। मुझे ये पेनिट्रेशन 2% से 4% पे अगर मैं ले जाता हूँ अपने लाइफ टाइम में ओवर द नेक्स्ट 10 years, I have done my bit and that I'm very very confident that I'll be able to do. We are taking market by market. Like we started with Eastern UP. We are today in 35 districts in UP. In the next 3 months, we will be present. Let's say in 90% of UP, 90% of the districts in UP. Out of 75, will be at least in 60, 65. Let's say worst case. Then we've already started planning for Bihar. Yes, we started talking to people in Rajasthan. I think Northeast is a very very big potential when it comes to financial products. It's a very very high potential market and extremely under penetrated. So we have a clear roadmap in terms of the markets that we want to get in for the next 12 to 18 months, and we don't need too much capital. So if that answers your question on fundraising.
I mean, capital could help you go more aggressive. Na? You could have more feet on the street to acquire advisors and stuff around that. And I mean, is that part of your plan, or you want to keep it organic growth?
So there are two, or rather, there's just one thing which external capital can help us, and that is not advisor acquisition. That is not business growth. One thing that that as a founder, I find it challenging today is hiring, and I think external capital, raising capital from
gives you credibility
from a well-known firm gives us credibility. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. Unfortunately, most of the people do not know our internal numbers, and even we don't share those numbers. Okay? So external capital aata hai, so there is a validation, external validation. So that is something which this will help, and otherwise, business growth, advisor acquisition, and all of that. It is not really dependent on external capital. It is not really dependent on external capital. Given that, as I said, even we as a team don't want to do this, don't want to be in 700 districts in the next 1 year. We have a very, very clear roadmap that these are the 4 markets that we want to work on for the next 12 to 18 months.
So what do you estimate will be your advisor count 1 year down the line? Like from 50, what do you think it'll hit?
I think, so we are currently at about 300. 1 year down the line, we will be anywhere between, let's say, 3.5 to 4,000, which is a very, very good number. Look, Akshay, kya hota hai ki when you start, the first 50 advisors are basically experiment on your product, experiment on the concept and the product. Okay. The next, 500 odd advisors or 200-300 advisors, let's say, the stage that so from 50 to 300 were an experiment on the business model. Okay. Now this 300 to, let's say, 1,000 or 1,500 will be an experiment on scalability. Okay. Once you have, experimented on these 3 things, product, business model, scalability, then that is the time you go all out. Okay. So that's what we feel as a team, and to do that, to establish these 3 things, we don't need too much capital today.
So how have you made your app easy for people who may not know English, and like you're essentially catering to Bharat? So what have you done to make it easy for them?
So if you go to our app, very very simple word, pictures, very very simple words. Though the app is in English currently, but the words that we use, okay, like your portfolio, okay. So when an advisor sends a portfolio of funds which he has selected for a client, we call it a cart. Now, given that all of us, the entire, everyone has used e-commerce some point in time, right? They understand, they might not understand what a cart is. They might not understand what a portfolio is, but they will understand what a cart is.
Yeah, and they'll understand that icon of the cart.
Yes. So these are things, very, very simple things, and a lot of effort, a lot of time has gone into it. Having said that, we are also coming up with a Hindi app. what we have also done is we started a YouTube channel. Actively started it only about 5-6 months back. We have about 60 odd videos there. Again, 4-5 minutes to about 10-minute videos. Each video talking about basic concepts of finance, personal finance. So things like RBI bond, things like mutual funds, things like post office savings schemes.
So these videos are for the advisors or for the end customer?
So these are actually for both. Given that a lot of advisors, are new to this business, given that a lot of customers ask these questions or pose these questions to advisors, what we tell our advisors is that just go to our YouTube site, YouTube channel, pick up the video that your customer has asked you question on, and send it to your customer, send it to the user. And advisors have actually started doing it. It has made his sales process, the inquiry process, so simple. We now have started trying it on funds also. Like earlier we were doing it on concepts of finance, mother product. Now we have started doing it on funds, mutual funds. Let's say an ICICI blue chip fund. So we have created a 3-4-5 minute video on some funds. So if an advisor wants to sell or recommend a fund to a customer, what he can just share the video.
And this
nothing.
video is in Hindi or like?
This is in Hindi. So the advisors find it very, very useful. We have a long way to go there, but I think it's a very, very powerful medium. Given that it's much easier, and India is the biggest market for YouTube today. So it's not something that is rocket science. Okay, we doing something which has an established track record. People are on YouTube. Everyone knows it. We just said innovative way to do it. So advisors share it with customers, and customers, and the advisors' feedback that we've got, customers have understood the fund. What we have also done in the process is standardize the sales process. जब वो वीडियो कस्टमर को समझा रहा है कि क्या लेना चाहिए और क्यों ये लेना चाहिए, why is it good for him, so the sales process has got standardized. So there's no mis-selling, let's say, right? So these are things that we are doing for these markets.
So are you currently able to meet payroll with business earnings, or you're funding it yourself?
We are able to meet 80% of our payroll through business. 80% of our payroll through business, which is decent. As I said, it's client funded, so some of our large clients. So that is one business. Initially we actively worked on it, created a revenue stream there, and it's perpetual income. So that we use to fund the retail business.
Okay. So what is your assets under management right now? Like, if you're comfortable.
So collectively, all products taken together, we are north of 500 crores today. This includes mutual funds, fixed deposits, PMSs, bonds, RBI bonds. All products taken together, we are north of 500 crores.
So when you're building a mutual fund distribution app, do you need to individually tie up with each mutual fund to sell their product, or like how does that happen?
Yes. So that process we've not been able to streamline it yet. But that's a one-time exercise that you need to do with about 40-45 mutual funds.
Okay. So each one has their own policies, and you need to apply with each fund, and they will give you access. Okay.
Absolutely. So it's about 100-page KYC documents. Look, because we are a private limited company with 3 directors, shareholders, so all KYC documents. So there are 100-page. So there's a 3-4-page empanelment form and 100-page printout. So we cut almost like for every 10 AMCs we cut like a tree.
And this will happen when you start insurance also. You'll have to do it for each insurance company separately, like the integration to be able to sell their products.
I don't know. Look, insurance, again, there are a lot of people who have cracked the insurance market. I might just tie up with someone who's an insurance broker who has a broking license and use their platform to sell insurance. Because, insurance, again, just, like mutual funds, insurance, again, has a lot of products, various segments, so we might just tie up with someone. So we are exploring that opportunity currently.
So, what has made you so passionate about the capital market space and investments in particular?
Very interesting story, Akshay. Thanks for asking this. Actually, I would, when we were growing up, we were middle class Marwari business family in Calcutta. When we were growing up, the only newspaper, and my dad used to be in stock markets. Okay, he used to be in stock markets. The only newspaper that we used to get at home was Economic Times. दूसरा कोई newspaper नहीं आता. And Economic Times हम इसलिए पढ़ते थे because उस समय, if you 90s में Economic Times used to have a sports page which is not there anymore. अब वो sports page नहीं आता है. So when you are that age, when you are say 6, 7, 8, and उस समय TV वगैरह कुछ नहीं होता था. This is I'm talking about late 80s, early 90s, right? So and you wanted to. So all of us kids, we've grown up reading cricket news, right? So Economic Times में, so that's how let's say I started reading Economic Times. So it's like then over a period of time it became very very natural. We became very comfortable. Me, my brother, my younger brother, basically. Because घर पे वही आता था. So Telegraph week में 2 दिन आता था, Saturday, Sunday. Because Economic Times was I think 7 rupees or 10 rupees over weekends per edition. It used to be expensive. So Telegraph Saturday, Sunday आता था, and 5 days was Economic Times. So we had no choice. And second, I'll give you another reason for this. Which again, when we were growing up, जब school में होता है तो काफी कुछ project assignments वगैरह मिलते हैं ना. My dad used to be in stock market. He was a very very active in that. He would have invested that time in let's say about 100-200 companies. हर company का annual report आता था घर पे. ठीक है, हम सारा school के projects ही annual report से ही करते थे. तो वो projects में जो आपको photos वगैरह कट करके paste करना होता था ना, सारा स्कूल का प्रोजेक्ट ना एनुअल रिपोर्ट से ही होता था. सो लेट्स से कोई फार्मिंग पे प्रोजेक्ट है तो यू यूज्ड टू यूज बायर का एनुअल रिपोर्ट, तो बायर क्रॉप साइंसेस का एनुअल रिपोर्ट. कोई कंप्यूटर पे दैट टाइम हम कंप्यूटर का फोटो लगाते थे प्रोजेक्ट में. आई डोंट नो इफ यू रिकॉल दैट और नॉट. तो दे यूज्ड टू बी अ टाटा ग्रुप कंपनी बाय द नेम डिजिटल. आई थिंक इट वाज डिजिटल, यस. सो उसे कंप्यूटर एंड सर्वर्स के फोटो वगैरह निकाल के लगाते थे. Stock market was very very natural to us. For me as well as my brother, both of us, it was very natural. I think I'll share this, with my dad. He'll be very happy about it.
Do you have kids?
Yes, 2 of them actually.
उनको भी आप यही कर रहे हो क्या, इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स सब्सक्रिप्शन?
Nice. So the world has changed. Look, I don't have a TV connection at home. So we don't have a TV connection. We used to have Tata Sky, which I have discontinued. They अभी भी वो लोग SMS भेजता रहता है, which we ignore. Newspapers, thanks to Corona, we stopped taking newspapers. I think their childhood will be very, very different from our childhood. Very, very different. Things have changed a lot, and thanks to the last 6 months, things have further changed. Basic things, basic opportunities, right? हमारे टाइम पे क्या होता था? CA कर लो या इंजीनियर कर लो, बहुत कुछ है, डॉक्टर बन जाओ, right? Now you see, in fact, this morning only I was talking to Vidhi, my co-founder, and today so many opportunities. People have made fantastic careers out of everything that they love. So it's very different now. It's very different now. So I think these guys will do what they love.
Beyond Campus is a production of thepodium.in, powered by Career Launcher. If you like this show, then we are sure that you will love our other shows on subjects like entrepreneurship, marketing, books, and drama. Check out thepodium.in for a complete list of all our shows.